When we first started with Quicklert, we had schools that didn't have a working bell system, didn't have a working intercom system, and we were looking something to fill that need. Shortly after that, we got into the ability to call other rooms because we didn't have phones in every room. So if one teacher wanted to call another teacher, they could do chat or they had to walk down the hall, but they didn't have room-to-room connections. After Quicklert, they had room-to-room connections as well as room-to-room across our district, so to different buildings. The ability to send announcements to the entire district, whether it be an alert message or just a general message, to do that from my phone or my office or from a tablet, really changed that landscape and made that much more accessible and made it easier.
I've appreciated the mobility aspect of it. I do most of my work on my iPad, and the hub portion where I can actually send a message to a classroom, either asking for a student or push out an announcement, or if I'm outside checking the grass to see if it's okay to go outside for recess because the grass is too wet or if there's mud, I can do all of that off of my phone in real time. And I don't have to go back inside, hop on the intercom, and go through that message. The drills aspect is awesome, that I can start a drill on my phone from anywhere in the building and I can pull any kind of a mass alert up and just go. Like, that is one of the best things for me, because that means that no matter where I'm at, if I'm not near an alarm and if I need to do something, I can set it off the spot, whether I'm outside and I see a tornado and I need everybody to go inside to make sure we're being safe, or if we're going to do a lockdown, I can do all that off of my phone very easily. I think that's also helped us as a school get better at the drill process, like being able to understand when we have a fire drill, this is what you're going to hear, this is what you will see. It's also in 2 languages, so if we have students that struggle with English as the main language, like we've gotten Spanish as that's our main big one that comes up next, but they are all getting the message. And I think we've also with this have been more comfortable talking about going into a lockdown if we have an intruder in the building. Previous years where I've been in other districts, both as a teacher, administrator, they were talked about and we would practice in the rooms what would happen if we hear something like, if we hear a gunshot, what we should do. But this is something where we got to get the entire student body involved in the process. And last year, I thought it was great that we had all the students that got to practice doing it first. We talked about it for a couple days. We got to do it in comfortability of our rooms. And it also created an opportunity where we got to work with law enforcement and getting them involved in the process. So we got to do a lockdown where we told the students, no one's gonna open this door except an administrator or law enforcement. And then we actually had either an administrator or law enforcement going through and opening doors. Like, they got to see, like, this is what it's like. And we're already looking at trying to incorporate that more into our school year this year as we're getting ready to take off for the school year. I think that's been probably the biggest part of that. And the more we do it, the less scary it becomes. And I think that's a huge part of what Quicklert's allowed us to do, is that it's made some of those things that make us anxious, that make us nervous, it's made us like, okay, this is just another part. It's how we prepare. It's how we get ready for things.
I think the mobility part is also good in the fact that it makes people feel safer, or can feel safer, because we've been in admin meetings in a different building in the district, and all of a sudden something happens in one of the buildings and everybody's phone goes off and everybody knows that something's going on. If we didn't have that connection back to the building through our phone, through our computer, we wouldn't necessarily know until somebody could call us. That allows us to get help there sooner. I've been in a restaurant before having supper, and all of a sudden an alert goes off, and from my phone I can check that room and see what's going on. When I'm sitting in my office at the admin building and there's an alert that goes off in a room, whether it be behavior or medical, I can click in and make sure that help is coming, make sure they've got it under control. Likewise, we have our nurses that are shared between buildings. They have the iPads, and we have the Q Hub on there and the Quicklert Connect app on there, so that if they're in the other building and there is a medical situation that takes off, they're immediately alerted. They can pick up that the iPad and look into that room, give direction, let them know they are coming. And that has been huge. I know our nurses really appreciate having that when they're in multiple buildings.
I remember for fire alarms, I mean, you'd go up to one of the fire alarms, you'd have to know which zone it was, and then you'd pull it, but we'd have to also call law enforcement, let them know we're going to do an alarm or do a test, and then you'd have to go back to the cage, you'd have to unlock And I mean, that was just a whole process of like resetting the system then after that point. Now I can do that whole thing by myself. I can activate it, I can turn it off, I can send out a message, all within 5 minutes of doing it all. Ideally, it'd be less time than that.
And the old way didn't send any directions.
No.
It just might have rung the bell a certain way, and that was it. There were no directions about what to do. With this now, we also have further communication in the classrooms to the teachers if there is a fire or something like that, and it happens automatically. It's not another piece that had to be tacked on in another step. The fire system connects directly with Quicklert. The fire system goes off because something happens in the kitchen. It's automatically going to turn on the Quicklert alert, and all of the staff and students hear the message. They're told what to do. They all get the same message. It's in the hallways, it's in the classrooms, it's on their phones, it's on their iPads. It's accessible everywhere.
So one of the features that's on there is using the timers. So I do see that probably is used more often than other features on there. We do use the maintenance call if we have like a spill or something like that. We do that for calling for the office. So if we need to get a hold of them for something, we just hit a button, it automatically calls them. They've used it to call room to room before. I've used it to call different classrooms. The mobility feature is awesome because I can actually do that off my iPad. So if I'm walking, the class, I mean, it's not my best moment, but they can see me running in the hallway with my iPad, and they're like all watching me moving because the mobility piece works. But they've used it for that as well.
Today, for example, on the tech side, I had to introduce a feature on an iPad to a special education teacher. I called her on the Quicklert. We had the visual, and she could hold up the iPad. I could walk her through steps. I could show her on my side what to do. 5 minutes, we had the whole thing. It was a demonstration in person without me leaving and going across town.
The hall pass feature has been cool also. I mean, I've loved it because kids know, like, if they see me in the hallway, I've asked each kid, like, hey, are you supposed to be out here on a pass? And they're like, yes. And then I can pull it up on my phone. It's like, oh, yep, you've got a pass. You're right. And then they know that they're being checked. And I think that's been huge just in monitoring how many kids we have out in the hallways, how many are actually using restrooms, if they're wasting time. The timestamp is cool because I can show kids like, hey, you had a pass for 3 minutes and yet you were gone for 15. What's up? And that opens up a dialogue, letting them know like they can't abuse the time they have. So that's been a cool feature. The video calling from room to room has been good. They've liked that because then they can contact each other that way without having to worry about buzzing in, because I don't think they had that with the other intercom system. No. So that's been a huge feature.
So there is the ability to call each other, call the office, to do the timer, to get the weather. Now it can be for messaging and things. It is a part of something they do every day. If you can get attendance on there, if you can do milk count on there, different things like that, if you can get training from there. It is now used every day. There's not this big stigma that it is only when stuff is going down that it's used. It just becomes a part of their everyday life, like a pen, a pencil, or an iPad.
It opens up the communication line. I mean, I've yet to hear of a school district that has been known for over communicating. And I don't think it's because schools don't want to communicate. I think they're looking for better ways to do it. And I think that is where they get hung up on, is just trying to figure out what's the right way we're going to do it. Is it going to be through a different party? Is it going to be just we're going to use the email system? Is it going to be through like a mass text alert, things like that? And I think by building that trust line, I think the different things that we can offer into Quicklert, about the fact that you can call different rooms, that connects every teacher to every teacher in the district. I have never been in a district where I've been able to do that, where I can go to my office and I can call another teacher over in Washington and ask them a question. I've never been a part of a district where I can just hit a tablet and I can immediately see into the room. I mean, that's huge. Having that built into the classroom, built into the day, into something that we can use, of being able to not make these devices seem like they're only used for tragic moments, I think that's huge. And there's so much potential that they could be used for, that I think it's just going to continue to get better and improve on what we're doing for the building. I think it's going to become easily a part of just how we are. Like, people are going to start associating Fairfield with Quicklert if they're not already. Hearing that there's districts that know that we're using Quicklert, I think that is speaking volumes. Like, this is going to be something that I think that is going to start being implemented in districts. And the overall goal of this is like, we're going to make our systems better. Kids are going to be safe. Staff are going to feel like they're safe here. And if families know that they're in a district that takes their students and their family safety that seriously, Like, that's what's going to draw families to different places like Fairfield in the future.
So for me, when we had a weather announcement because of snow or things, I would have to go to 5 different Facebook pages. I would have to go to Instagram. I would have to go to Twitter. I would have to go to the school website and things like that. Quicklert can tie several different solutions all together into one place. Just like incorporating the fire alarm system with Quicklert, now it's contacting the police department, the fire department, the office, the rooms, the students. It can contact the parents all at one shot, and you're not having to go 5 different places to get the message out. So even though it may not be every tool, it works to bring all the tools together into one spot.